Yo, what is up, my Macalarius? Is Cam Mac 238, and we're here with a reaction video of Evolution of Spyro the Dragon. Now, excuse me, I was going to react to the. Whoa. Can I hear myself? Okay, I was going to react to the evolution of Flat Life, but not Flat Life, evolution of Fallout. But I said to myself, why would I react to this video? I don't even play the game. I'm not even a big fan of this game series. So I'm not even going to react to it. I don't really care about that. I will probably watch it on my off stream, off YouTube, but I don't really care about it that much. Now, Spyro the Dragon, yes, because it's part of Insomniac Games. Played in Insomniac Games, the company that made Ratchet Clank, Spider Man, and the upcoming Wolverine game made Spyro the Dragon on the PS1 era. I did play the first one on the PS1, but the trilogy though, I played the remaster one on the PS4. I do got Spyro the Dragon 2. I am planning on doing that gameplay in the future soon on this channel. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and react to Evolution of Spyro the Dragon. And thank you guys for if you guys don't know, I hit 30 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys for supporting me through over a year. It's been over a year since I started doing YouTube, and I gained like a lot of subscribers, a lot of subscribers. So again, I want to say thank you for reacting to my videos. I plan on post the shorts as well on TikTok, see how that goes. Maybe let them know like, hey, thank you guys for hitting 30. Thank you guys for getting me to 30 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Let's see where this future will take us to. But yeah, let's go ahead and react to the video. Again, thank you guys. I appreciate it very much. I should check on the frames though, so make sure I don't get no stiff frames.
After the success of Crash Bandicoot, Sony had a mascot who could compete with Nintendo. But another
Yep.
PlayStation legend was about to
Yes,
arrive.
sir.
This one would not spin through crates. He would breathe fire. But Spyro's story
Yeah,
was far from a
yeah.
fairy tale.
I am planning on doing the Spyro the Dragon marathon. Interesting. I never thought of that. I mean, Spyro the Dragon. Crash Bandicoot. I never thought about that. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Sonic. No, not Sonic the Hedgehog. I can't do Sonic the Hedgehog. They got so many endings in that game. I'm good on Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm good on Sonic the Hedgehog. Oops. There we go.
Disastrous sequels, reboots, a canceled movie, more than a decade of silence.
Cancel
And
movie.
finally, the comeback. Spyro's story was far from a fairy tale. Disastrous sequels, reboots, a canceled movie, more than
Sequels were terrible. They were gonna make a Spyro the Dragon movie. Reboots. I mean, I don't really care about the reboot. The reboots was okay. I don't really care, but they were about to make a movie of that. I don't
a
know.
decade of silence. And finally, the comeback fans had waited nearly 20 years for.
Can y'all guys imagine if they made Crash Bandicoot movie? Like, what would that movie? What would the who would be the voice actor for Crash Bandicoot? Who would be a voice actor? Well, it will probably be a. I don't know. Who will be a voice actor? Will the movie be good? Sonic good. Mario good. Will Crash Bandicoot be good? He is the first PlayStation mascot. Why not give it a chance? Now, Ratchet Clank, I like Ratchet Clank movie, but nobody will like that apparently. So yeah, that they are making a God of War TV show now, and Dave Bautista is the actor at Kratos. I I want to see how I like Batista. Batista good as actor. He especially him play as Drax. But how I want to see how the actor will. I would think about Jason Momoa who played Aquaman be Kratos. He literally got the beard. He got he just got the face and the beard, which is Kratos for perfect. I would be okay with Triple H be Kratos And he not even an actor. He just looked like Kratos. The Rock? Hell no. Get The Rock away from the PlayStation characters, please. Keep him on the Jumanji. And Jumanji about to be over. Spyro around B. They're making a new Spyro the Dragon game? Wait, that ass making a new Spyro the Dragon game? Oh crap. Wow. I did not know that. In 2027, I most definitely will buy that game. Holy crap. I did not know they're making a new Spyro the Dragon game.
This is the evolution of Spyro the Dragon. The story of Spyro actually began with failure. In 1996, a
really?
small studio called Insomniac Games
Yes,
released
sir,
its
the
first
GOAT.
game, Disruptor. Critics liked it, but sales were
I am planning on doing the Somniac Games marathon. Same with Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog. What else? Rockstar Games too. Capcom. Not Santa Monica. Santa Monica literally just got a war. I know they got one game, but well, I mean I could do God of War Marathon if they I realize LaFay coming out next year, right? God of War LaFay. You guys could see me proud. Well, I mean, PlayStation Marathon though. We'll see how it goes. I just gotta move out of there. Get move out of my mom's house. I need my own place. Just need a good computer science job, man. Oh, I just had my interview. Um, my first one for interviews for the Walmart job for the software position. I did not expect those type of questions, and I did not expect the code to be shown on there as well. I wasn't prepared for that. I was studying for it, but at the same time, it's like, uh, I mean, they understand I'm a recent grad and all, but golly, dude, I, I don't know. I'm gonna get that job. I'll be honest. I probably ain't gonna get that job. And the second one, it went under 15. It went about what? Not it was under 15 minutes, but it was 13 minutes long. I did good. It's just like I expected more question what he would ask. It really wasn't that much. That was I feel kind of skeptical, basically. Like, okay, all right, that's good. I guess he's cool with me. I don't know. I guess I answer everything. He want to know like projects I was working on, personal projects, school projects. I guess it went well. I don't know, but yeah. Um, hopefully I get to one of those jobs soon or any of the jobs I apply to. I gotta take the assessment as well, dude, for one of the other companies. But yeah, Destructor.
were disappointing. Thankfully, the game impressed
Video is
Universal
about nine.
Interactive
Video
Studios
go
enough to give
9
the
minutes
team
long,
another
and
chance.
we're looking on it
Artist
a
Craig
minute.
Stitt suggested making a game about a dragon. At first, the idea looked nothing like the Spyro we know today. Inspired by the movie Dragonheart, the project had a darker,
Never seen that
more
movie.
realistic tone. One early version, called Lifespan, would have followed a dragon defending its lair across thousands of years of history, battling human invaders before eventually facing an alien invasion. Producer Mark Cerny encouraged the team to create something with broader appeal and help Sony compete with the Nintendo 64, which was dominating the market with family-friendly games like Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64. In fact, Super Mario 64 became
64
one
was
of the
hard.
team's biggest inspirations, but Insomniac wanted to go further. They packed the game with collectibles and built Spyro around one unique ability, gliding. From a high enough point, players could travel across almost an entire level. This allowed the team to
Yes,
create
almost.
larger, more open worlds that rewarded exploration instead of simply following a path. But that freedom came with challenges. The camera struggled to keep up with Spyro's speed, and
Yes.
some early playtesters even felt motion sick. To solve the
Not
problem,
me though. I'm a
Insomniac brought
man.
in Matt Whiting, a NASA
Ooh.
engineer who specialized in flight controls. With his
Oh.
help, Spyro became one of the smoothest characters to control on the PlayStation. One
Oh, that's
small
cool.
step for NASA, one giant glide for Dragonkind. There was another problem. 3D technology was still new, and the original PlayStation had very limited hardware, with just 2 megabytes of RAM. Spyro's huge worlds and long-distance gliding required players to see far into the
Bro, it was
distance,
so
a major
hard to
technical
like get
challenge
the
at the time.
silver
Programmer Alex
chest.
Hastings solved the problem with a groundbreaking panoramic engine. Nearby objects appeared in full detail, while distant objects used simpler
I hate
versions.
those
This
guys.
allowed
They're
players to
so
stand on a
annoying.
cliff and see far into the distance. It was highly innovative at the time and helped
Bro,
inspire
and it was
techniques
so
still
hard to like find jams. Like, dude, it was so hard. And like going to YouTube to find these stuff. Like, damn. I'm just trying to find. I just want to collect all the jams, dude.
used in games today. The result
That's
was
that level
Spyro the
annoying too as
Dragon,
well.
a magical adventure that pushed the PlayStation to its limits. Fun fact: Spyro could have had a very different name and design. Originally, he was named Pete, but the name had to be dropped because it was too similar to Disney's Pete's Dragon. He was then named Pyro, but that
Wait, Pete Dragon was a thing before 2016? I don't know. I never seen a Pete Dragon movie either. I never seen a movie in my life.
sounded too mature, so he eventually became
Kind of
Spyro.
mature.
He was also originally meant to be green, but the developers worried he would blend into the grass. Purple stood out much better, and gaming history
Purple
was
does.
changed
Yeah,
forever.
yeah, purple does still much better.
In 1998, a new PlayStation exclusive arrived that would soon become one of Sony's biggest stars. Spyro the Dragon. Players
Got
stepped
that
into the
case,
role
too.
of a young purple dragon living in the Dragon Realms. A peaceful world suddenly thrown into chaos when the bitter sorcerer Nasty Nork transformed almost every dragon into crystal. With
I
most of
remember now.
Dragonkind trapped, it was up to one unlikely
I thought they said
hero to
Nazi
save
at
them
first.
all. That hero was Spyro, a dragon whose confidence was much bigger than his size. What made Spyro special was freedom. Instead of simply running from point A to point B, players could charge, glide, and explore huge levels packed with secrets, treasure, and hidden areas. Standing on a cliff and gliding across an entire level felt magical
I
at
don't
the
think
time. Spyro
if you're a
also
little
stood
kid, I
out
don't
from
think
many games
I
of
don't
the
think
era.
little kids
While
play. I don't
others
think they'll
chased
do that.
darker
Like
and more
explore.
realistic worlds,
Oh yeah, the
Spyro
fire.
embraced colorful fantasy and adventure. The experience was made even better by Stuart Copeland's magical soundtrack. Critics praised the game. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, while GamePro said the graphics and animations gave Spyro the look and feel of an animated film, and called the game environments breathtaking. Back then, seeing a distant mountain was enough to impress everyone. Players loved it too. The game sold over 5 million copies worldwide
Nice.
and established the Little Purple Dragon as one of gaming's most iconic characters. Fun fact: during development, Insomniac worked closely with Naughty Dog, the creators of Crash Bandicoot. Their offices were
I mean, I
literally
know
across
that.
the hall
I
from
know I
each
said
other,
O for
making
it.
it easy to share ideas and technology.
I'm gonna see
Friendship
Naughty
became
Dog
so strong that
Sucker Punch
Spyro
Insomniac
and
Gang
Crash even included
programming
exclusive demos for each other's games.
position for bachelor for recent grad.
In 1999, Spyro returned for a well-earned vacation, which lasted about 5 seconds. Welcome to Ripto's Rage. Instead of relaxing at Dragon Shores, Spyro was accidentally pulled into the magical world of Avalar, where the
Was he
angry
accidentally?
sorcerer Ripto had taken over. To stop him, Spyro teamed up with new friends like Hunter, Elora, the Professor, and Zoe, while collecting magical orbs scattered across the kingdom. This time, Spyro was voiced by none other than Tom Kenny, best known
Okay,
as the
I'm about to
voices
say.
of the Ice King from Adventure Time
Yes,
and
and
SpongeBob
SpongeBob.
SquarePants. SpongeBob
I'm about to say, like, who? I'm about to say, like, Tom Kenny voiced Spyro the Dragon, right? And then, yeah, but apparently, who was the first voice actor for? For Spyro, the first game of Spyro, it basically like Ratchet Clank game with what his name Mike, who voiced Ratchet, and then now James Arnold Taylor who does Ratchet now. I follow him on Instagram, him and the voice actor of Clank, and the voice actor of Sly Cooper as well.
Bob finally left Bikini Bottom and switched from Bubbles
Tried
to
to find a voice actor
Dragonfire.
of Jack,
The
but
sequel
he
greatly
wasn't there.
expanded the gameplay. Spyro could now swim, climb, head bash, and use powerful temporary abilities like Super Flame and Flight. Mini-games, side quests, and boss battles also added much more variety. One of the biggest criticisms from the first game was that it was too easy, so Insomniac
It
designed
was?
the sequel to offer a greater challenge. The result was another hit. Ripto's Rage earned an average score of 87% on game rankings, even higher than the original game, and
Wow.
sold over 3.4 million copies. Turns
Not
out
bad.
fans were more than happy to cancel Spyro's Vacation. Ripto's Rage remains one of the most
Sorry.
beloved
It's
Spyro
11
adventures
o'clock right
ever
now. I need to
made.
go to sleep.
Fun fact. Ripto's name originated from the Japanese spelling of Spyro, which means the hero accidentally inspired the name of his own villain. Imagine being named after the guy you hate most.
Year of the Dragon.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Insomniac Games released Spyro, Year of the Dragon
The
in
last
2000.
game-
this
the
time,
last Spyro
disaster
Dragon game
struck
from
during the Year of
Insomniac.
the Dragon celebration. Just as a new generation of dragon eggs arrived in the Dragon realms, an evil sorceress sent
really
her
find
apprentice
Spyro as the
Bianca
most
and an
iconic
army of
character.
Rhinox to steal every single one of them. The Year of the Dragon was off to a fantastic start. To get them back, Spyro ventured into the mysterious Forgotten Realms, where magic was slowly fading under the sorceress's rule. Along the way, he teamed up with new allies like Sheila the Kangaroo, Sergeant Bird the Penguin, Bentley the Yeti, and
I forget
Agent
you
9 the
played these
Monkey.
characters
Together they
too.
battled Rhinox, rescued dragon eggs, and uncovered the sorceress's plan to use the baby dragons to gain immortality. Year
Oh,
of the
wow.
Dragon was Spyro's biggest
I forgot
adventure
you could
yet.
play
New
other
playable
characters in that
characters, larger worlds, skateboarding, and dozens of mini-games added more variety than ever before. It even introduced auto-challenge tuning, a clever system that quietly adjusted the difficulty so skilled players stayed challenged while newcomers would not get stuck. The game was secretly helping players without hurting their pride. Spyro, Year of the Dragon became a massive success. Critics praised it as the best entry in the series, earning an impressive 91 on Metacritic. It was also the end of an era. Year of the Dragon was the final Spyro game developed by Insomniac Games, as the partnership between Universal Interactive and Sony began to fall apart. Insomniac moved on to create another PlayStation legend,
My
Ratchet and
childhood
Clank.
heroes. Oh, GameCube. Not GameCube, Game.
Then Spyro made the jump to the Game Boy Advance with Spyro Season of Ice in 2001, developed by Digital Eclipse. The game followed a villain named Grendor, who accidentally turned himself into a two-headed monster and began kidnapping fairies to cure his endless headaches. Apparently,
goodness.
Grendor had never heard of
fairies.
aspirin. A year later came Spyro 2, Season of
Dang.
Flame. This time, the Dragon Realm's magical fireflies were stolen, leaving every dragon unable to breathe fire. Armed with only icy breath, Spyro set out to recover the fireflies and soon discovered the thief was none other than Ripto. Both handheld adventures received mixed reviews, but they kept Spyro flying on Game Boy Advance while the series prepared for its next chapter.
Spyro Into the Dragonfly. Let's see how the PS2
In
era
2002,
worked.
Spyro finally soared onto the PlayStation 2 and GameCube with
And GameCube
Spyro
as well.
Enter the Dragonfly. It was the first major Spyro game developed without Insomniac, with development handled by Equinox Digital Entertainment
heard of those
and
companies.
Check 6 Studios. The story picked up shortly after Year of the Dragon. During a
The
special
graphic looked good,
ceremony,
though.
the young dragons were about to receive their very own Dragonfly partners when Ripto suddenly returned and crashed the celebration. His plan went wrong almost immediately, scattering dragonflies across the Dragon Realms and sending Spyro on another rescue mission. Enter the Dragonfly introduced new abilities like Bubble, Ice, and electric breath, while bringing back the colorful worlds and exploration fans loved. On paper, it sounded like the perfect next step for the series. Unfortunately, the jump to new hardware did not go as planned. Development was rushed, technical problems piled up, and the
Uh-oh.
game launched with bugs, performance issues, and long loading times. Planned
Oh
Xbox and
no.
PC versions were eventually canceled as well. Critics were disappointed.
Uh-oh.
GameSpot gave it a 2.8 out of 10 and called it a train wreck of a game. On Metacritic, it scored a disappointing 56,
Oh my
and many
God.
fans saw it as
It was that
Spyro's
bad?
first major stumble. The Dragon Realms had seen better days. Even Ted Price, president of Insomniac Games, did not hold back. He called the game an absolute
Oh
travesty, saying
wow.
Spyro has become an abused stepchild.
Yo, bro, I gotta play. Yo, I had to play that game myself. I had to play all this Fire Dragon PS2 games by myself, dude. I gotta see how the game goes, bro. There's no way it's that bad. There's no way it's that bad. It's not like the worst game of the year at that time, right? Like how Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 game was. It wasn't that bad, right? There's no way. I don't believe it.
Spyro then continued his
Yeah, what
handheld
the hell?
adventures with Attack of the Rhinox on
Game
Game
Boy
Boy
again?
Advance. But a far more exciting project arrived in 2004: Crash Bandicoot Purple, Ripto's Rampage,
Uh,
and Spyro Orange, The Cortex Conspiracy. For the first time ever, Spyro and Crash Bandicoot joined forces after
the
Ripto and
hell?
Dr. Neo Cortex teamed up to conquer both of their worlds, marking the first official crossover between the two PlayStation icons. It sounded like a dream come true for fans, but the reality was far less exciting. Crash Purple scored a 67 on Metacritic, while Spyro Orange managed
7.
only a 60. Critics
That made me so
criticized the
old now.
repetitive minigames, simplistic
Are they still doing that
platforming,
meme?
and lack of challenge, making it yet
Which
another
one ever doing
disappointing
that still?
chapter for the
The rest
Purple
of them.
Dragon.
Heroes still.
In 2004, Spyro returned in A Hero's Tale, developed by Eurocom Entertainment Software for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and for the first time, Xbox.
It's about
It was Spyro's chance to
expensive.
turn things around. This time, Spyro faced an evil elder dragon named Red, who had corrupted the Dragon Realms with powerful dark gems. As Spyro destroyed them, the world slowly transformed back to life, with Deadlands becoming colorful and healthy once again. The game introduced new abilities like wall kicking, ledge grabbing, water breath, and playable sections featuring Hunter, Sergeant Bird, Sparks, and newcomer Blink the Mole. Critics praised
Who
the
the hell is
graphics,
Blink the Mole?
controls, and larger worlds, calling it a big improvement over Enter the Dragonfly. However, many
Uh-oh.
felt it was still too easy and did not do much to change the series
I
formula,
mean, ain't
earning a
Spyro
score
the
of
Dragon supposed to
64.
be
Not
easy
amazing,
though?
but at least nobody was calling it a train wreck this time. It was not quite a return to
Okay.
Spyro's glory days, but for many fans, it felt like the Purple Dragon was finally heading in the right direction again.
Okay.
Fun fact: originally, the game was called Spyro The Dark Realms, which honestly sounds a lot more epic. It was also planned to be darker. Early versions included baby mammoths as enemies, but publisher Vivendi Universal Games was not a
Hey,
fan of
that company
Spyro
shut down.
attacking cute animals, so they were removed before release.
Can you guys imagine a
In
dark,
2005,
kid-friendly game
Spyro
like a
spread
Dark
his
Crash
wings onto the
Bandicoot game?
Nintendo DS for the first time in Spyro Shadow Legacy, developed by Amaze Entertainment. Following the events of A Hero's Tale, a mysterious storm trapped Spyro's friends inside the Shadow Realm, sending the Purple Dragon on a quest to rescue them and master new magical powers. The game took the series in a different direction by adding role-playing elements. Spyro could level up, learn new abilities, complete side quests, and even cast spells using the Nintendo DS touchscreen. Unfortunately, the experiment went horribly wrong. Shadow Legacy earned a disappointing 50 on Metacritic,
Oh,
with one reviewer calling it a
this is out of context, but how do you guys feel about Sami Zayn finally turning heel now? About time. I was not happy that he caused Kevin Owens a match, but hey, I'm happy that he turned heel now. But I do agree with Sam that he did get screwed. Well, did he technically get screwed over? He defended his WWE championship first time ever in Chicago. It's not bad. CM Punk, I'm not mad that he faced against him. It was a good match. But CM Punk winning the championship actually lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Roman Reigns. It's like, dude, really? But I'm a big fan of CM Punk, so you can't make me hate him like that.
Dark day for the
Unless it's like a business markman. No,
Spyro
I ain't no pipe
franchise,
bomb
and
CM
another
Punk
describing
anymore.
it as painfully repetitive and just plain dull. Ouch! Spyro had hit rock bottom.
Damn. The Legacy of Spyro. The Legend of Spyro.
After years of disappointing games,
the legacy.
Spyro
What I-
desperately needed a new beginning. Conveniently, that's exactly what the next game was called. In 2006, the first game of the reboot launched for PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, Nintendo DS, and Game Boy Advance.
Golly.
This was no longer the lighthearted treasure-hunting Spyro from the original trilogy. It featured a darker story, new gameplay, and a brand new origin for the Purple Dragon. He was now a rare purple dragon, born once every 10 generations, and raised by dragonflies after his egg was sent downriver during an attack by the forces of the Dark Master. The game even featured Hollywood talent, including Elijah Wood as Spyro, Gary Oldman as Ignitus, and David Spade as Sparks. Spyro had gone from collecting gems to starring in his own Lord of the Rings adventure. Gameplay changed too. Instead of open levels and platforming, a new beginning focused more on combat. Spyro could use fire, electricity, ice, and earth attacks while fighting through more linear levels. The dragon had officially chosen violence. Sadly, it was not quite the comeback Spyro needed. Many critics found the gameplay repetitive, resulting in a mixed 64 score.
Dude.
The reboot continued in 2007 with The Eternal Night. The story picked up after a new beginning. Cinder left the Dragon Temple, while a new villain named Gaul the Ape King sought to resurrect the Dark Master during the Night of Eternal Darkness. Spyro also met the Chronicler, who taught him new powers through dreams. The biggest addition was Dragon Time, which allowed Spyro to slow down time during combat and platforming.
He's a time
Basically,
god now?
Spyro entered the Matrix. The game added more puzzles and exploration, but the core gameplay was still mostly linear combat. While the darker story was praised, many critics found the combat repetitive, the gameplay too linear, and the overall experience too serious, resulting in a low 54 score. Funnily enough, the Game Boy Advance version, developed by a different studio, scored a much higher 80.
This game on
The
the
trilogy
PS3 cost a lot of
concluded in
money.
2008 with The Legend of Spyro, Dawn of the Dragon. Set 3 years after the Eternal Night, Spyro and Cinder are freed from their crystal prison and discover that the Dark Master, now revealed as Malefor, has returned. The world is falling into darkness, and Spyro must finally face the first Purple Dragon. The Hollywood cast expanded with Mark Hamill as Malefor. Spyro had somehow convinced Luke Skywalker to play the villain. This game made the biggest changes in the trilogy. For the first time, Spyro could fly whenever he wanted, and players could control Cinder in co-op. Spyro used fire, electricity, ice, and earth, while Cinder used poison, fear, wind, and shadow. Dawn of the Dragon was more cinematic and ambitious than the previous two games, but critics still were not impressed, resulting in a mixed 62 score. The Legend trilogy divided fans. Some enjoyed the darker story, but many missed the colorful platforming of the original games and felt the series focused too much on combat. As a result, Spyro's popularity continued to decline. Turns out not everyone wanted Spyro to grow up. It was the end of The Legend of Spyro, but luckily for the Purple Dragon, his biggest comeback was still ahead. Fun fact, Spyro almost got his own 3D movie. A film called The Legend of Spyro 3D was planned for theaters in 2010 and was set to be distributed by Universal Pictures. However, the project was canceled before release when Activision decided to take the franchise in a different direction. Honestly, a Spyro movie? That actually sounds pretty awesome.
But it went terrible though. Oh wow, you're not even gonna miss it.
Then Spyro vanished for more than 10 years before he finally got the comeback fans had been waiting for. In 2018, developer Toys for Bob released the Spyro Reignited Trilogy for
I like the
PlayStation
trilogy.
4 and Xbox One, with Nintendo Switch and PC versions
I'm about to
arriving the
say where
following
Nintendo
year.
Switch at. I know Nintendo
Spyro the
Switch was for a
Dragon,
while.
Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon were rebuilt from the ground up in Unreal
First
Engine
time I ever
4
played
with
Spyro the
modern
Dragon. I loved
graphics
it.
while
I want to
staying
hear it too.
faithful to the gameplay fans remembered. Spyro had never looked this good. The task was not easy. The original source code was no longer available, forcing the developers to study the old games and recreate much of them from scratch. To make sure everything felt right, Toys for Bob worked closely with the original creators at Insomniac Games.
Oh, that's
Even Tom
awesome.
Kenny returned to voice Spyro, while original composer Stuart Copeland returned
Dude, I
nearly
did not
2
remember
decades
playing
later
that
to
guy.
help bring the classic soundtrack
Like, it's
back
been
to
since
life.
2018,
Critics loved the
2019
return
since
to
I played this
Spyro's
game.
roots. The collection earned an impressive score of 82, with many praising its beautiful visuals, attention to detail, and faithfulness to the original trilogy. After years of struggling to find its identity, Spyro was finally back. Not bad for a dragon who'd been asleep for over a decade. The Reignited trilogy was a huge success, selling over 11 million copies,
Oh,
making it
wow.
the best-selling game in the franchise, and
What?
proving that the little purple dragon still had plenty of fire left. Fun fact, over the years, several interesting Spyro games were canceled before they ever saw the light of day. Agent 9 was once set to star in his own James Bond-style spy adventure, while Toys for Bob later considered a major crossover between Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. However, after Crash Bandicoot 4 failed to meet Activision's sales expectations, the crossover was canceled as well. Crash was ready to spin,
Never beat that game
Spyro
either.
was ready to fly. The
I think I
adventure
was halfway
ended
there. I just
before it even began.
decided not to play anymore. That's I did not
For
know
many
it was
years,
coming.
fans dreamed of a brand new Spyro game. Then, in 2026, Toys for Bob finally revealed Spyro: A Realm Beyond, an all-new adventure
did they
arriving in
announce it at?
2027 for PC, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch 2.
I'm gonna buy
Fans
it
can
on
hardly
physical
believe it.
disc.
The reveal trailer surpassed 16 million views in just 1 week.
16
while
million
comments
views.
filled with messages like, "He's back," and "It's enough to make a grown man cry." After nearly 2 decades without a brand new
Yo, I
Spyro
did not
adventure,
know.
the Purple Dragon was finally returning.
Oh,
This is
wow.
Spyro's first completely original game since The Legend of Spyro: Dawn of the Dragon, all the way back in
No, we're doing a
2008.
Spyro the
After
Dragon
becoming
trilogy
stranded in a
marathons.
mysterious realm, Spyro must find a way home while stopping an invading force known as the Scavs. Along the way, he will meet new allies, explore vast new worlds, and take to the skies like never before. One of the biggest additions is full free flight. Instead of simply gliding, players can
wow.
soar across the world, dive from great heights, and explore massive landscapes from the air. According to Toys for Bob, it is Spyro's boldest adventure yet. Whether A Realm Beyond becomes the start of a new golden age for Spyro remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. After all these years, the little purple dragon is still flying. For nearly 3 decades, Spyro has
Drake.
entertained millions of players and become one of gaming's most
That's
beloved
Uncharted
characters.
thing.
Subscribe for
Why
more
you play Uncharted
evolutions.
thing?
And if you want,
Flat
you can
life.
become a channel
What's wrong
member
with
to
you,
get early access, sometimes even weeks before new videos release, and have your name added to the credits. Huge thanks to the legends who've already joined.
Yo, Flatline, thank you for making this video, man. What a good video. Dude, I did not know that's the new Spyro the Dragon game gonna come out next year. I'm actually interested. When God of War Fae gonna come out, dude? That's a lot of game come out next year, aren't they? God of War, Spyro the Dragon. PS5 release date. February 16, 2027. I'm about to say did the last God of War game came out like not this last, not Ragnarok, but 2018 was April, right? And okay, God of War was they like releasing like spring, winter. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Yes, I will play this new Spyro the Dragon game, dude. I would love to play it. I know the trilogy of the stories. It means for a long ass time, so I won't remember, but I did play. Okay. You also subscribe to Flat Life. He's a good YouTuber. Get him to 700K, 700,000 subscribers, too. Why not? I hit 30. Let him hit 700,000 subscribers. But other than that, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys like it, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel to see more of this content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, McLarius. And subscribe to my channels as well. And thank you guys for supporting my channel and been watching my videos. Any of y'all guys subscribe or not. Thank you for letting me hit 30 subscribers. It's insane still. Thank you. Love y'all.